our Senate Majority Leader. What are we up to?
And I hope and pray that Trump will sit down with us and negotiate a bipartisan bill. That's how it's always been done in the past. That's how shutdowns have been avoided in the past.
And if he doesn't, I'm just confirming here, you will vote no. Is that correct?
We are hoping, Dana, we are hoping that he will negotiate with us.
And if he doesn't?
So far, he hasn't.
Globeheads on Twitter will literally argue that the Democrats are doing everything they can when this guy's the de facto leader of the Democrats. They'll be like, what do you want? They're literally doing everything in their power. This is like the advocacy we can look forward to from the Senate Majority Leader.
And we've had 2 bills in the House and Senate, and neither of them have passed. Our Democrats are firm. We need to get something done to relieve the distress the American people are in.
Okay, that sounded like a yes, but you can confirm that, and then I want to move on. Is that accurate?
Yeah. The bottom line is we must get a better bill than what they have, plain and simple.
The last time.
Jesus Christ. How different would controlled opposition be, honestly? From Schumer, no difference at all.
You've been asked numerous times if you will endorse Zohran Mamdani for New York City mayor. You always say
look at
you're
that smile
continue
fall.
To talk. There are 2 key questions here that you haven't answered. One is, will you ever endorse him? And 2, what do you need from him?
Why can't he just say yes? Because if the federal government shuts down, it would probably inconvenience Israel in some way. I'm sorry, that's the answer. It's like Chuck Schumer is an avatar of a collection of economic and financial and, geopolitical interests, none of which are his voters, by the way. And the federal government shutting down would be inconvenient to them. For a non-American, how is his position picked? Is it assigned by DNC? No, the Democratic senators vote for him.
To get your endorsement.
Okay, well, first of all, I know him. We've had a good relationship in the past, and we had a good meeting 2 weeks ago, a very long meeting with a lot of serious questions, and all I can tell you is I'm going to continue talking to him.
What's the holdup?
Dude, she's done with this shit, man. She's like, what the fuck? Come on, like, give me something, you freak, you loser. Give me anything.
I got to continue talking to him, and that's what I'm going to do.
Is part of the
like he's like it's not even like it's not even just being politically weak. Like interpersonally, he comes across as incredibly non-committal.
That if you endorse a Democratic socialist, you're worried it will be damaging to your party, maybe even your chances of winning back the Senate? I'm
going to continue talking to him, Dana.
Jesus Christ, man. He's such a freak.
You can ask me again.
All right.
Well, this is who the Democrats chose as their leader. And none of them speak out against him, by the way. The fuss about, like, the people whispering about his replacement or whatever, that was just, like, very temporary in response to him turning his back on the Democrats and whipping some senators into voting for the budgetary bill. That energy is not persistent. Yeah, Dana Bash is not, like, a good person. It's just Chuck Schumer is so bad that when in this conversation, she comes across as far more reasonable. I kind of want to see the whole thing. Oh, man, look at that like to dislike.
A partisan bill. That's how it's always been done in the past. That's
people on his base. This time he is pushing hard towards potentially a shutdown because he's trying to push back on Republicans in charge. Listen to what he said to me this morning.
I hope and pray that Trump will sit down with us and negotiate a bipartisan bill. That's how it's always been done in the past.
You heard about the made-up Republican family Chuck Schumer uses to judge what is or isn't a good... Yeah. I've heard him talk about this. That he has like an imaginary couple in his head who he tries to cater his decision-making to. Yeah, I've heard this. He's lying, of course. In reality, he's entirely beholden to lobbyists and special interest groups. But he wants to make it sound folksy.
That's how shutdowns have been avoided in the past.
And if he doesn't, I'm just confirming here, you will vote no. Is that correct?
We are hoping, Dana, that he will negotiate with us.
And if he doesn't?
So far he hasn't. And we've had 2 bills in the House and Senate, and neither of them have passed. Our Democrats are firm. We need to get something done to relieve the distress the American people are in.
So talk about the politics that are going on inside the Democratic Party that brought Chuck Schumer to this point?
Well, he faced, as you mentioned, a lot of backlash last time around for really not having a strategy. Democrats, they didn't feel like he walked in with any sort of strategy for a shutdown, et cetera. This time around, I do think he's doing better, along with Jeffries, which it was very telling when the Senate voted that the Democratic bill got more votes than the Republican bill. And so
it pisses me off so much that by like corporate mandate, by CNN mandate, these people are not allowed to say the obvious fact that all of us know 100%, which is that he's a little corporate ghoul who doesn't believe in anything. Like, it's the only explanation for his behavior. It's the best explanation. It makes perfect sense. It's consistent with everything he's ever done, but they can never, ever, ever bring it up. We just have to, like, wildly speculate. Like, oh, maybe it's just that he's been coincidentally, inconveniently incompetent in a very specific chain of ways forever. And that's why it's not like the other much more obvious explanation.
I found that interesting. It wasn't just Democrats that voted against the Republican bill. You also had Murkowski and others who voted against it. But then I also think it was smart for them to ask for a meeting with Donald Trump. It's very clear that Johnson isn't going to negotiate. He sent everyone back home on recess. And so he sort of owns this shutdown, and they want to put the pressure on Republicans and on Johnson. So I found it interesting.
But they don't, because Schumer just indicated that he doesn't want to put the pressure on Republicans. He just said he's not going to force a shutdown.
They asked for this meeting. It looks like Trump would like to meet with them. He will ultimately be the decision maker in this. And it just shows that Democrats are wanting to come to the table. They don't want to shut down. So I do think that Democrats are handling it a lot better than last time. And there is somewhat of a strategy compared to last time.
But the leaders might not want to shut down. But there's a lot of pressure from, as you were saying, from the Democratic base to do just that, to show their fight.
No, he said he won't not force one. Yeah, but he didn't say he would force one. Like, so he might as well. So he's not going to force one. Like, Chuck Schumer is not currently like whipping votes up to make sure that the funding doesn't go through. 100%. Like, if he was, he would say that, and he's not going to.
Yeah, I think that there is pressure. I never agree with a shutdown. I don't think it's good for either party for there ever to be a shutdown. And I think that going back many years, I think both leaders would understand that and understand that it's not popular. But at the same time, I think Chuck Schumer needs to show that he's fighting. And that's what he's doing right now.
I think Chuck Schumer better be careful and prove that he can lead. That's the question that independents who will decide this election are asking. Democrats have always said it's irresponsible to shut down the government. You gave Chuck Schumer this morning 3 chances to say that he would not vote to shut down the government.
This guy's a Republican, by the way. The independent posturing is bullshit and dishonesty, and this is a fake news network, and all the media is lying to you, and you should buy gold and live in a cabin in the woods, ideally in Alaska. They're all lying to you. They all hate you. They all want you to die.
And he refused to tell you yes. You gave him more than enough room to do that. He is headed toward doing something irresponsible because the Democratic Party is irresponsible right now. And that's I realize he's got a lot of pressure. I realize he's worried that AOC might primary him, but it's time for him to do what's right for the country and not what's right for Chuck Schumer.
But he also knows that this is about health care. And I think that they want the midterm elections to be about the economy and health care. And I think that's what he's ultimately trying to pick that fight.
It's about keeping the government open, period. You can't insert another issue into it and say it so, it's about something else. No, should we close
Democrats are saying we'll do it as long as you put more money in there for health care subsidies.
We'll hold the country hostage unless we get our way.
Alex, there is a lone Democrat.
Or what the f*** you say? Well, in his case, he just wants the Republicans to come out on top, which means he doesn't want a shutdown. If a shutdown happens, it would be the Republicans' fault. Mike Johnson and the Republicans broadly have been instructed not to talk with Democrats. They're not even making an effort to make a case for why their version of keeping the government open should be accepted. The Democrats, on the other hand, are making that case. So objectively, if a shutdown takes place, it will be because of the Republicans, because they are the ones who are not willing to compromise or negotiate on the thing they're trying to put through. But of course, he doesn't want that. He wants the Republicans to just get their way. Why do they want the shutdown to begin with? Nobody wants a shutdown. The Republicans want to avoid a shutdown with a funding bill that is more evil than what the Democrats want. The Democrats want the funding, the debt ceiling to be expanded in a way that provides more money for healthcare and a few other things. I want a shutdown.
Democratic voice in the Senate caucus, and that is John Fetterman, who was saying, do not do this. It is a disaster strategically. Listen to what he told me.
I would love to restore a lot of those healthcare things. That's the right outcome, but that's a dangerous tactic if you are
Jesus, he literally looks and sounds like an ableist caricature.
Trying to shut the government down for one of our policies do. I think it's the right thing to extend those healthcare things, but it is absolutely the wrong thing for a lot of reasons that we're going to shut our government down. I condemned it when the Republicans threatened to do that thing, and it's entirely wrong for us to do the same thing now.
I think the line is Democrats in disarray, right? Is that they are not all on the same page here. You have...
There's no page. Fetterman is a Republican. Schumer doesn't exist. Schumer doesn't have anything to say. Like, there's no page here. It's not even like they're disagreeing. Democrats don't even like talk to each other.
People that are actively calling for a shutdown, not just for healthcare reasons, but because, and you saw this in Ezra Klein's piece like a few weeks ago that circulated around Capitol Hill that said we need to shut it down in order to stop Trump's authoritarian government. Then you also have some Democrats saying, no, we need to do it for ACA subsidies. Some Democrats are saying for Medicaid, to roll back the Medicaid cuts. They are not all on the same page. And John Fetterman, while as the lone public voice, is not the only voice privately that does not want to shut down, in part because they do not believe the party has an exit strategy. Once you shut the government down, you still need to have Democratic votes in order to reopen it. What is the strategy if Republicans say no?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I do think one thing to note on that is when you don't have Democrats with the same messaging, it allows Donald Trump and his administration to do what they do best, which is to coalesce behind the message that this is Democrats' fault and blaming.
Well, you're telling me there are consequences to the Democrats having absolutely no outreach strategy, no cohesion, no consistent communication. Let me put it this way, guys. How insane is it that the Democrats have not completely ousted Fetterman from their coalition? Like, in the Republican Party, if you were as divergent from the base as Fetterman is from the Democratic base, they would have already tied you to a stake. But Fetterman is allowed to just do and say whatever he wants, going constant media appearances where he defends and agrees with Republicans. He says the most obscene shit about Israel. Shit nobody in the Democratic base. Fetterman is not a Zionist in the sense that he believes in, like, you know, a Jewish homeland for safety or whatever. He, like, crows for the blood of Palestinians. There is no base for this within the Democrats. Nobody likes it. And yet, somehow, for some reason, the Democrats do nothing to push back against it. There is no pushback. There is no, like, we are disgusted by Fetterman's behavior. It's not as though they're fighting over a slim margin. They already don't have the Senate. They just hate your ass, man. They just hate you.
A shutdown on them rather than the fact that he is in office at this time.
Kristen, I want to turn to Arizona. What are your sources telling you about the tone and tenor that the president wants to set with his speech?
Well, there's what they're saying and what we might ultimately see. And I think we're going to have to wait to actually see what he puts forward. And I will remind you that when he sat in the Oval Office, to him and to the people around him, that was a measured speech that honored the life of Charlie Kirk. To many, they believe that that was a blame game, that that was an opportunity for him to unite the country, and instead he blamed Democrats and the left. We know he's been personally involved in this. This has hit him. He is very close. He was very close to Charlie Kirk, and it's not just him. He sees it in the people around him who all had relationships with Kirk. This is personal for him.
I'm sorry, wait, when the fuck did we start talking about Kirk? When did that happen? Okay, the topic changed there very rapidly. Sorry. I guess I missed that? Charlie who? Some guy. I feel like we didn't talk about this enough considering how insane it is. In a shocking blow to our economic and sort of cultural supremacy, the Trump administration is imposing a $100,000 fee per H-1B visa per year for any company looking to hire people through that program. I've had my own criticisms of H-1B visa programs in the past, but this is basically designed to gut them. Which is, so the funniest thing is that this is not even a consistent across-the-board policy. Like so much else in this unitary executive theory-oriented administration, my understanding is that there's a provision in this bill that allows the government to waive that cost at their discretion. So basically, if you're a company that's in cahoots with the federal government, you can get H-1B visa slaves for nothing. You know, you can get them for free. But if you're not, $100,000 a year per person. They changed it like 20 times so far. It was for every visa, when for new visas each month. Now it's every year. I don't know. It's also inconsistent. The details are still being considered. Well, what is China saying? China responds to Donald Trump's 100K H-1B visa move. What, they didn't say anything? China responds, and then the text of the article. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said it would not comment on U.S. visa policies. Oh, so it doesn't. It doesn't respond, actually. Notes that China welcomes outstanding talents from across the world. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, great. Thank you, China. Phenomenal. Really.